Hi, and welcome to this edition of BCPS News. I'm Mary Beth Marsden. On today's show, we'll check out a foundation educating young people on responsible driving habits, visiting Chinese students exploring local colleges, and some great storytelling. All this and more, but first, let's check out what's trending. Cockeysville Middle School recently hosted one of several secondary STEM fair celebrations that took place around the county. At the Middle School Challenge, 200 students from 22 middle schools competed in several events. The challenges included a watercraft designed boat built out of straws, a high-rise tower 45 centimeters tall that could withstand the wind of a fan, and the construction of a bottle rocket. Each team that participated mastered at least one of the challenges. Douglas Handy, BCPS's Supervisor of Career and Technology Education, was named one of 5 2012 Leaders to Watch in the March issue of Technology and Engineering Teacher magazine. According to the magazine, the individuals were recognized for having shown outstanding leadership ability as educators early in their careers. Handy's instructional leadership includes the development of the Engineering Technology GT curriculum and the development of the Project Innovation curriculum, just to name a few. He currently supervises 105 teachers, including 28 department chairs. Students at the Chatsworth School recently teamed up to participate in the American Heart Association's Jump Rope for Heart program in an effort to save lives. During the event, students rotated through various physical activity stations and got the opportunity to learn about the heart and what it takes to keep it healthy. In an effort to raise awareness about the disease, the school raised more than $7,044. And in meeting their goal, physical education teacher Justin Maglov received a new hairstyle, courtesy of the Chatsworth students, for a job well done. Up next in our studio, we're talking about saving for your child's college education and why it's important to start early. Stay with us, there's more to come.
Behind the wheel, there is no such thing as a small distraction. A public service reminder from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons. Visit decidetodrive.org.
Welcome back. You know, with the cost of a college education increasing, it's never too early to begin saving for college. Maryland residents have a great way to do so. And joining us today is Joan Marshall, Executive Director of the College Savings Plans of Maryland. Joan, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
I imagine that parents get a hold of you and they just want to hear all about it. And yet there are so many parents who don't know about it. I
know.
Tell us a little, give us the broad overview.
Sure. Well, the College Savings Plans of Maryland offers 2 great plans that families can use to save in advance for future college costs, to try to reduce or maybe even eliminate the amount of money they need to borrow to send a child to college.
Which, as we said, is ever increasing.
That's right. It's even more than credit card debt now.
You know, my first thought was, particularly in these last few years, it's been such a struggle economically. I would have thought that it would be difficult for you to get people to start thinking about saving for college.
Well, actually, a lot of people really are focused on saving for college, especially in Maryland. We have a very highly educated population, and those families want to send their children to college, and so they realize they need to start thinking about it earlier and earlier, and that's why we're actually seeing more people enrolling very young children down to infants in the college savings plans.
Yeah, and you mentioned before too that when we look at what's happening right now with loan debt,
right,
and how that's surpassing even credit card debt, you're saying?
Yes, it is. It's amazing. It's very sad because it really puts these kids in a bind when they graduate college and they have these high loans to pay back. It keeps them from getting apartments and cars and so forth. And so it really makes a lot of sense to start preparing for these costs as early as possible.
So what are the options of plans that I have for my
Well, there's
child?
2 different plans. There's the prepaid college trust and the college investment plan. The prepaid college trust lets families lock in a fixed payment that's based in part on today's tuitions at Maryland public colleges. Families can then make their payments one time up front or annually or monthly, and then when their child is ready to go to college, if he or she goes to a Maryland public college, the trust will then pay the full in-state tuition and mandatory fees that are in effect at that school at that time. Or if the child decides to go to a private or out-of-state college, that's still fine, because in that case the plan will pay up to that year's average tuition of the Maryland public colleges toward the tuition at the other school. And then there's the whole college investment plan, which basically is mutual fund type of investing with tax benefits. Families can start to invest with as little as $25 a month. They choose from a variety of investment options that are managed for the state by T. Rowe Price, and they can use their balance again at colleges in or out of Maryland.
So they take a little more of a risk there, thinking they might make more on that.
Well, they
plan,
could take more of a risk,
lock in.
or maybe even less, because there's even a Treasury money market option in that plan. So it's really for families that want to know where their money's invested, but they are the ones bearing the investment risk. And you're right, if you want to put your money in 100% stocks, you would then be bearing more risk.
I'm sure you hear this question all the time. Well, what if my son or daughter eventually doesn't want to go to college? Then what happens to the fund?
I know, I definitely hear that question all the time. Basically, they can keep the money in there. The child could use it later on. They can move it to a wide range of other family members of that child who could then use the money. Or the family can take the money out, and in that case, they would pay taxes on the amount of any earnings, plus a 10% penalty, again, only on the earnings alone because they didn't use it for college expenses.
All right, here's another question you probably hear. Okay, what if I think my son or daughter is going to go to a state school, and then, you know, you never know with kids what happens down the road, and then they decide they want to go to some private college, then what happens to the money that I've locked in?
It's fine. A lot of people are afraid of that because these are Maryland plans. They think they have to be used at Maryland colleges. It's not true, never was true. Both of these plans can be used at almost any college in the country as long as the college is accredited and accepts federal financial aid. So the only schools you can't use it at are those schools that are not accredited, and I say you probably don't want to send your child there anyway.
And finally, you have worked so hard to get the word out, and yet there's still so many parents and students who aren't getting the word. It's really still a pretty small percentage of people when you look at the whole population.
That is correct. And the best way for families to learn about these plans is to go to our website, collegesavingsmd.org. They can participate in a webinar. They can come out and visit us on our tour that we're going to be doing around the state in another couple of weeks. They can request a speaker for any group, anytime, anywhere. There's lots of ways to get information.
All right, Joan Marshall, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you,
We
Mary
appreciate it. Coming up next, preparing for their future. Students from around the globe check out what local colleges have to offer. Speaking of colleges.
Within 24 hours and over 7,300 miles traveled, a group of Chinese students arrived in Baltimore County.
We're excited that you're here, and we want you to be excited also, because this is such a unique opportunity for us to get to know you and for you to get to know us. And we know that every day is going to be a valuable learning experience.
As part of the BCPS China Culture Exchange Program, students from Xi'an, China will experience American life for the next 8 weeks. As a way of jump-starting the exchange students' visit, colleges from around the Baltimore area participated in the College Fair Workshop, hosted by Loch Raven High School. Presentations by Goucher, UMBC, Towson, and Stevenson colleges were on the agenda.
It's important to have the exchange program. When our Chinese cultural exchange students come to us, they are only aware of a few select colleges in the United States. We want to share with them the expectations of American universities and help them to match their talents with a university that would be good for them.
Ready to answer questions regarding course offerings to housing, the exchange students were eager to explore.
But my dream is to become a creative animator and painter. And the animation in America, I think, is very developed. So I want to paint here.
Well, I think I am interested in science. Because I do well in science in China.
The importance of having the opportunity to meet one-on-one with college representatives will help these students in making informed decisions about their future education, as many will return to the United States to pursue their interests and careers.
And by the way, the first China Cultural Exchange Program at BCPS took place in 2007 with 9 students and 1 teacher from Xi'an. On August 25, 2006, 18-year-old Marc Goldberg from Franklin High School was killed in an automobile accident that should not have happened. The Marc's Promise Foundation was established in his name with the sole purpose of educating young people on responsible driving habits. Let's take a look.
Driving is a huge responsibility. Be focused anytime you're behind the wheel. Automobile accidents are a leading cause of teen deaths in the United States. It's for that reason the message of Marc's Promise is so important.
It's said that the most devastating thing in this world is to lose a child, a feeling Neil Goldberg unfortunately knows all too well.
Everybody says it can't happen to me. Kids think they're invincible, and parents think it can't happen to my child. I am here to tell them all, yes it can, and it does.
Neil Goldberg shared his traumatic story about the car accident that took his son's life with the students of Hereford High School.
My job today is not to scare you. I am not going to be showing you pictures of teenage body parts or wrecked cars. My job today is to try to educate you on what to do and what not to do if and when you get a driver's license, or if you already have a driver's license. Because a car can be a great thing, it can also be a very dangerous weapon when not used properly.
Marc's promise encourages young drivers to make a pledge to themselves and to their parents to make the right decision to save their lives and possibly the lives of those they care about.
There's distractions everywhere, and if you get drunk, that's only going to make everything like 80 times worse. So just don't drink and drive. Talk to your parents about it. If you're in a bad situation, have them come pick you up.
Just not having them around is tough.
For more information on Marc's Promise, please visit the website www.marcspromise.org.
A powerful lesson for all of us. Now, reading takes a cultural twist and students look ahead to their future careers. Let's check out what's going on around the county.
Pot Spring Elementary School students participated in Career Day by inviting over 30 representatives from different professions to speak to them about what they do at their job.
One of the things that we do as school counselors is to help children develop career awareness. So we'd like for them to think about future careers, make connections to what they're learning in school, and think about their future.
The assembly of doctors, firefighters, and other professionals made for an informative event.
I talked about how things you learn in school and do in school, how it relates to my profession as a police officer. Reading, writing, talking to people, being nice, cooperating, how those things apply to my job every day.
Many of the future adults even dressed up as their favorite profession.
I dressed up as a professional skier. It's always been a dream for me because it's always seemed fun for me, and I'm on the ski team too.
It was evident that for some students, public service was in their minds.
The kids today were great. They understood the three branches of government, both at the federal level, the state level, and the local level, and they asked great questions. I think what we're trying to do is give them a sense of how government operates, as well as understanding what different professions there are.
For BCPS News, I'm Christy Lynch.
The young boys and girls from 7th District Elementary School were delighted with the visit from Chinese storyteller Linda Fang.
I just feel that the children should learn to tell stories. But before they learn to tell stories, they should first learn how to listen to stories.
Through humorous stories about food, deities, and monsters, the students gain insight about the origins of Chinese New Year celebration.
When I come to do a show, the kids will tell the story with me. I use them as my partners, sound effect providers, so they are always in the stories doing something.
If you'd like to hear more about Linda Fang's storytelling with reference to Chinese cultural traditions, visit www.chinesestoryteller.com. For BCPS News, I'm Brianne Richburg.
Did you know?
That does it for this edition of BCPS News. If you have any story ideas, comments, or suggestions, contact us at edchannel@bcps.org and follow BCPS on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, I'm Mary Beth Marsden. Thanks for watching.